Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as we explore the mere caster of apparently a royal person, your highness, your grace or whatever. Cartago over here is talking to us, he's with us, and that guy is a surgeon that's trying, or at least pretends to be trying to fix us or something, to fix the highness, or anyway. We're inside his memory, and yeah, we're gonna continue with it. The hours of rest have won you no strength, and the soup sits uneasily in your stomach. Cartago dusts your face with rogue... Oh, with rogue? To hide its What is that? Cartago rusts your face with rogue to hide its pallor. Oh, rogue. Oh, it's like rouge. It's rouge. Okay, it's like powder. It's rouge. To hide its pallor, actually. Slides white gloves over your twisted hands, wraps you in a padded jacket that adds lost flesh to and masks the bulbous growths. He tucks and folds and buttons and at last passes you a looking glass. In your trembling grasp, it shows nothing more or less than a rot and sickness. You look like a corpse prepared for a funeral display. Cartago has hidden nothing. He has merely framed your condition as a euphemism that others can bear. They are waiting, he says, and he guides your chair forward. Your eyes flick across the drawing room, alighting on the vast map covering the far wall, the shining ointment of crystal and azure steel whirling in a corner, the shelves of ancient tomes, the writhing fire caged in the hearth. Then there are the men and women, young and old, all gazing expectantly, scores of stares you cannot meet in a sea of unfamiliar faces. On some, fear and desperation are naked. On others, other guests have done better in their concealment. A neatly groomed man in a neatly fitted officer's uniform sobs messily. He is the exception. Cartago puts his hand on your shoulder, and a hush falls. Your Grace, the family is gathered. To you alone, he says. They await your words. Okay, so the character I was building for this guy, I'm not really sure why I have a choice here, or what the point is of these choices. If it is to figure out exactly what happened, and try to follow what happened instead of changing the past or something. I'm pretty sure the mere caster doesn't do that, or maybe it does. I don't know. It kind of seemed to do that for Matkina, which was weird. But, so, these are all family, and I don't think the king here is dying. Yeah, the king is not dying of old age. He's dying because he got touched by the Iron Wind, which is basically a wind made of nanomachines that destroy everything. As far as I know, anyway. As far as we've heard. So let's try to ease their fears. This is gonna backfire. I'm sure this is gonna backfire. And also, this is very eerie. Very, very eerie. Very, very disconcerting. Because basically we're leaving the... It's funny how just changing the person that you are doing this, you are doing that, just changes completely the tone and how much it affects me, in particular, personally, you know, because I'm playing, but I guess it doesn't affect everybody like that, but for me, just putting it, you do this and you do that, it makes it more personal and makes it all the more scary, because we're living the last days, if not hours, of this man's life, and in a very human and just a very real scenario where this guy wants to help us, and they know you are dying. Your family may be strangers to you now, but anyone could see their fear, namely, that they will fall with you, followers that they are. You must set them free. You speak of your weakness and their strength, of the darkness you face and the bright days ahead for them. You say that a family is by definition more than one member. Too soon, your well-worn words run out, and Cartago ushers the crowd from the room. The officer, however, insists on staying, and your servant at last relents. Your Grace, your nephew Salvar, begs a word. He withdraws a discreet distance. That means to save in Portuguese, and it's not the first Portuguese-sounding word that we see in this game. I wonder if that's... And it comes from Latin as well, I think, save. I wonder if that... I wonder if these things, they do it on purpose. They probably do, maybe. I don't know. Alma's was definitely sounded like that, or Alma, I don't remember. Anyway, Salvar has everything you've lost. Strength, beauty, well, come on. Vigor, okay. He has the vigor, not the beauty. And yet, his haunted eyes, condemned eyes, are all too familiar. He bows and, thinking his face hidden, wipes it quickly with a handkerchief. As he rises, he kisses your gloved hand. Your Grace, His voice, for all its glorious tenor, quivers as if he is far weaker than he looks. You have given me so much, and now as your end draws near, I hope at last to prove my worth. His harried eyes dart about as he gives his little speech. Is something troubling you? A false smile reveals brilliant teeth. No, not at all. I have discovered a wonderful opportunity, a mercantile venture in need of a leader, a man of precisely my skills, and a chance to purchase shares in the ongoing concern, preferred stock. He stutters slightly over the foreign vocabulary of business. I can make good on what you've given me, prove that your faith in me was wisdom. The smile crumbles. I just need a stake to buy in. He means shins, of course. Tell me more about this venture. Salvar nods too fast too many times. It is not without danger, physical danger, I mean, which is why they need a man who can swing a sword. He's interrupted by a cough from Cartago. The venture? Oh, yes, well, it involves certain saleable commodities that are in great demand in the oasis of Mirage Olios. Strictly highest workmanship, of course, but sold here like trinkets. So you see exactly the sort of thing a sharp trader corners in the market, as they say. It sounds like you're being tricked. Salvar blanches. Ridiculous. That could not be farther from the truth. This is honest and good. His words race blindly ahead. This is a lucrative enterprise. You're not really making any counter arguments. Your servant sighs audibly, the dull ache behind your eyes, the claws in your spine, your nephew's absurd deception, all of it drags you downwards. Why are you doing this? Salvar takes a step back, his eyes watering. I want to prove that everything you did for me, the schooling, the sport, my commission, these clothes, prove that it wasn't a waste. All my life I've had to pretend I deserved your love, your gifts, always knowing I didn't, always hearing others laughing behind their hands. He takes a ragged breath. Now I can prove you were right. Prove I was worth it. Prove it to myself. Yeah, I think that's really because I'm gonna die. From the corner of your eye, you see Cartago shaking his head. Your nephew holds your withered hand with his long, graceful fingers. Please, I just need help. One last time. Apologetically, unthinkingly, he adds, it needn't be this evening. There is time. Okay, this is interesting. I really think it's gonna, this is interesting. I wonder if we meet this guy, or if there's any consequences to what happens, or if, like, what we choose over here. This is all the past, right? And I wonder if this changes something. I don't know. But basically right now we're faced with a choice of, so saying no would be the sacrifice of the present, I guess, but maybe for the future it's gonna be better for him. The problem is he's gonna hate me, I think, or hate himself, which is the problem, and wonder. I'll need to consider. Let's go with a half ground. I think that's gonna be a good. I don't want him to hate himself and just wonder what if. And besides, I don't think there's gonna be time. But I'll need to consider. Of course, he says, nodding. The fear seems to fade a bit from your nephew's face. I promise I will make you proud. Cartago leads him from the room. When your servant returns, he shakes his head. You have showered that boy in shins, your grace, and shared a great wealth in wisdom, to no avail. Yeah, a person can always be changed. Cartago flinches at your words, and the scorn falls from his face. After a moment's humble silence, he eases your chair back towards your suite. It has been a long day, your grace. You should rest. A soporific and anodyne mist brought by Cartago dulls the daggers that stab your nerves, and soon sweet oblivion settles over you. You awaken in the dark night with the oh, wait a minute, that's not us. I thought it was. In the dark night with the certainty that you are not alone. Your uneven heartbeat races, and your rot-riddled eyes strive to find an intruder. Who's there? You hiss. A shadow sits at the foot of your bed, illuminated by the false fire glow of a cipher around their wrist. As your eyes adjust, their face becomes faintly visible. You recognize her from the gathering. She was at the back of the drawing room, and she left before anyone else. Casca, she answers, identifying herself. Though, by now, she knows you've seen her. Or, have you forgotten me entirely? I've forgotten almost everything, it seems. You haven't forgotten to spoil Salvar, Casca scoffs. You haven't forgotten your three-legged lapdog. Yeah, I kind of got that feeling as well. She's talking about Cartago. At the twist of a knob, the cipher on her wrist floods you with bright, blinding light. And you haven't forgotten to sleep in silk either, have you? Actually, I did. What? I didn't check. Why are you so angry? I'm not angry, she says in a low, dangerous voice. I'm hungry. And I want what you've been feeding my sweet, soft, rotten cousin all these years, your shins. When I'm gone, you'll be provided for. Casca nods once without saying a word, then darkens the cipher on her wrist. Without its light, the room becomes completely black, utterly silent and empty but for the whisper of her departure and the ever-present pain within you. Weakness and throbbing pain are the morning's gifts, unblended by the herbal broth Cartago has brought. Death will not stop knocking. By the time the clocks cry out midday, a palsy has seized your left hand. Your servant gives you a relic to grip, some ancient creature locked in an amber. It slips from your grasp and shatters to the floor. The beast flies away. At that moment, a caller is announced. Cartago leaves, then returns visibly dismayed. The medicant, your grace. Without awaiting any invitation, your visitor enters. A tall man, stiff and slender as a poker, finely dressed and bangled with ciphers. He glows with a confidence, yeah, as he gives a half bow. Your grace. At a curt nod from the medicant, Cartago steps out. Your guest then sits beside you and takes your hand. I have heard, he says softly. Naturally, not from Cartago, but your family cannot help but share their panic with the city. His eyes... Why so much panic? What is actually... I don't understand. Are they all gonna be forced to kill themselves? Or are gonna be killed if I die? Or what is going on? His eyes glisten with fathomless compassion, or at least a fine simulacrum of it. The hour against which you prepared for so long has come round at last, and they, who surely knew the day would come, are as unready as house pets. They have leaned on you greatly, but then so have I, and so have our children. He gestures to the leather portmanteau he has set at his feet. I'm here to bring your plans to completion. Our children? The medicant eyes you carefully, then gently nods. I know that a cloud has fallen on your mind. It would give me great joy to lift it. For many years, your generosity has given new hope to the dispossessed and neglected children of this city. A long lifetime's worth of wealth has transformed what my hospice can provide. The lands alone, your hold, the hunting preserves, and the mouths they now feed, the wrecking field at Crafton, and the honest labor of gleaning its Numenera, the campus of the hospice itself, and all the lost souls it houses. As you insisted, no one knows of these gifts but us two and your solicitor. And now I seek to drink the last dregs of your estate. Dregs? Plainly, my wealth is not gone. The medicant laughs and nods at your lavish surroundings. Of course not, your grace. Though much of this is an illusion you have crafted to lull those around you, like your servant Cartago. Then with practical smoothness, he grows more serious. And none of your wealth is gone, your grace. Let us rather say, put to better use than mere luxury, which is what my hospice would do with what remains of your estate. Why do you need more? The medicant shakes his head sadly. Our world knows no end of need, your grace. There are so many children who have been betrayed and cast aside. There is one in particular whom I wish to show you, if I may. He unhinges the portmanteau's clasp and begins to reach in. As if in response, the shaking in your hand grows stronger. Of course. From his bag, the medicant takes a glass tube filled with a swarm of ants. Next comes rich parchment, which he lays upon your desk. With a deft motion, he pulls the cap from the tube and pours the ant on the page. They skitter madly, but not aimlessly, oozing acids on the page until at last they've etched a flawless picture. Oh, that's pretty interesting. You see a young girl afflicted with almost unspeakable corruption, half her flesh a wilderness of misplaced parts and oozing sores. One of Cartago's brood, the medicant mutters. Most of them are killed at birth by the whores, if not by him. Unbidden, a strangled sound escapes you, and Cartago bursts in. The medicant slips out without another word. by the horse if not by him. The mannequin told me about your children, I'm gonna say. Cartago's face turns red with rage, and then, as he sees the formidograph of his daughter, shame. I see, he whispers, turning away. Face hidden, voice low, he confesses. I was a man when Kaeli let me join you in the border march, and a monster when we wed. Her love never flinched. He begins to pace. Could mine? She wanted a child, but I dared not burden her with another such as me. He steps forward, black mote swirling in the space between you. Jalipa swore there was still some good in me, untouched by the wind, that could grow in my wife. He reaches out, but I had to know, for her sake. Before you can condemn or absolve, the fit comes and all else goes. The fit comes. Oh boy. The darkness fades in part, the agony stays redoubled. Through a haze, you see your bedroom, and two men beside your bed. Cartago is one, his hand is on your bony shoulder. His companion, proper in every punctilio, is another stranger. Your Grace. You barely hear Cartago's voice. It is as if your ears are packed with wadding. I have brought your solicitor. The man sniffs. As you'll recall, Your Grace, you declined my offer to draft a will against this day. He speaks of mortgages and credit lines and accounts payable, wasting your life on a lawyer's long-winded way of saying what little wealth you truly have left. Now, you must tell me, he says, how am I to dispose of the residuum? The residuum, actually. So that's the remaining part. So, see, the Salvar has funded his venture. No, not gonna do that. Establish a trust for Cartago's children, wherever they are. That's... How many children did he get? He just wanted one. I have no idea. Bestow it upon the Medicant's hospice as you have done with the rest. I'm gonna go with that, yeah. Divide it evenly among my family. Bring Jalipa to me. Have her do whatever she can to save me. Whatever the price. Yeah. Let's not waste things. That's the one. Bestow it upon the Medicant's hospice as you have done with the rest. You can barely whisper the words, but as the final darkness creeps across your vision, you see from your servant's disgusted face and the solicitor's nod that you were heard. Your life's last short span stretches almost infinitely, and in it you see hospice and the many children in its care. Not all thriving, it would be impossible to hope for such, but all battered by your bequest. Then the image fades, and the darkness turns to golden waves lapping on the shore, and your long days are finally done. What was that all about? Okay. Do I need to talk to you or something?
Oh, yes?
Sorry, not you. Let's continue. To her? Okay. Huh. Okay, well. That was that mere caster. The other one did not activate. I don't have anything else. When did I get that, though? I got it here. Oh. We have two mirror casters. That's why. That's why I don't remember. I remember getting this one because I remember it was this thing, but I don't actually know where I got it. But let's use this one as well. So we don't need to use the our skills in there. So I could have just done that mirror caster without sleeping. Let's see. The two-worm device hums and throbs in your hands, or in your hand. And though you hear no music, you realize your lips are mouthing the words to a song in a language you don't speak. You feel the mirror this device contains blooming within you like a flowering, looping vine. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit more upbeat than the other one, because the other one was just depressing. Let's inspect it first. The metallic petals of the device flutter in the slightest breeze, light sparkles of the intricate circuitry within them. Okay, let's go on in. Because it's basically what we're doing. Oh boy. She's being beaten, yeah. Red, it's the color of the sky as the sun sets behind the stacked hovels. It's the color of the dust that coats the massive obelisk rising beyond the hovels, holding back the endless waters of the oasis. It's the color of her skin. The woman's name is Soshia. Her skin turns red when she's afraid. A mutation. Red is the color of her blood, running from the gash in her forehead. Red is your rage as you look at the two men who tower over her, laughing raucously taking turns to vent their spite. You can smell it, the blood, and their loathing. It stinks worse than Soshia's fear. Please, Soshia begs you. Please stop them. Help me. What's going on here? Human rights, mutie, one of them jeers. There ain't enough water to go around, but this troll spoor thinks she deserves more than the rest of us. Soshia starts to protest that it wasn't her, but the human kicks her in the face. You all do, he spits in her face. Don't think we ain't seen every one of you taking more than your daily cup. That should be enough for any filthy mutant, but no. Now you go to Burgrave thinking about changing the damn laws. He kicks her again to make his point. The other one steps forward and looks down at you, blocking the sun. I bet you deserve as much as the human too, don't ya? Think you're better than the rest of us? I don't know who I am. But do you think we'll just stand by while you come in here and beat up one of our own? Humans laugh at your pathetic attempt. They turn on you, overwhelming you from both sides. You can protect every place at once. They pound your face, your stomach, your kidneys. You taste blood and smell your own fear. They knock you down, and all you see is the red sky behind their sneering faces. They stop at last. One of them spits on your face. Damn mutants, he says. You don't belong here. We'll be back later with the others. Then we'll teach you a real lesson. They strut back down the road into town. Well, we survived, so that's a good thing, and we shared the beating with her, so I guess that probably helps her a little bit. I don't know, I mean, the ones that we took, she didn't. After they leave, a surgeon runs forward to attend Soshia's wounds. A small boy covered in blood blisters comes out from his hiding place to watch. An enormous mutant with an elongated neck towers over both of them. Okay, oh, there. It's up there. A woman with blue skin runs out from her house. Ashe! She shouts at the boy. You get home this instant! The boy tears himself away from Soshia and the surgeon. Suddenly, he stops and looks up to you. They said they were coming back. What are we gonna do? His mother Lally puts a hand on the boy's shoulders and also looks to you. What are we gonna do? She asks. You feel the heat of several dozen eyes asking the same thing, looking to you for guidance. Let's talk to Soshia to see how she is. The problem is I'm not gonna be able to. I'm not gonna be able to help her, but psychologically I'm sure I might. But for the other guys, hopefully this is gonna help them as well to see compassion and I don't know. Soshia looks up. Her skin is multi-hued now and reeks of overcooked vegetables. Pain. Thanks for your help, she manages. She looks pretty bad. Apparently the thugs had been working on her long before you drew their attention. You know what I miss? She's obviously half dazed as she speaks. Your music. You used to write the most moving songs. Her head lolls to one side. I miss your songs. If we fight, we're gonna die. I think. This is such a terrible situation. Oh my god. Oh, what's even the choice? It's like, it's terrible. In a situation like this, I mean, historically speaking, people have done many different things, but historically speaking, it rarely ever works. The oppressed, when it rarely ever does. I guess this one might be the only one that really matters. Which is sad and terrible, but who knows? A hope? A fool's hope, maybe. Who knows? Let's talk to the mother and the boy, see what they think. We should fight! The boy Ashe grins with sharp yellow teeth. There are lots of us. We can take them. Hush, child. His mother taps him lightly on the back of his head. A blood blister pops, covering her hand with a sticky, smelly goo. Damn! Anyway, don't listen to him. We're not fighters. You know that. The woman Lally looks over to where the surgeon is ministering to Soshia. You shouldn't ask me what I think. I think we should just keep our heads down, but that won't stop this, will it? I wonder if anything can. Yeah, I wonder if anything can. All three of Misha's hands are busy, that's the surgeon, fussing over Soshia with several different pastes, injectors, and spray canisters. Can't take much more of this, she mutters. I mean, all of us. Seem like someone comes in here causing trouble every week now, as if life in the Morphling Grotto weren't hard enough. The Morphling Grotto. I wonder if this is the Bloom. That sounds a little bit like it, doesn't it? Anyway, she slams 3 ciphers down at once and glowers at you. What we should do is talk to Burgrave. He might actually be able to do something. She returns to Tsuchiya with a groan. Not that he would. Not that any of us could ever even get to him without trouble. But it might be the only chance we have. What about the large mutant? This mutant stands 2 meters tall without his long neck. His hands look strong enough to rip bricks in half. It's a wonder he didn't do anything to help Tsuchiya, when he clearly could have. His voice, when it comes, is strange and sonorous, emerging from the multiple holes pierced through his neck. Zell will not feast until blood has come to rain, he says, and you realize he's talking about himself. Not that he makes any sense. Yeah? Yeah. He looks directly at you. Zell desires blood to rain. Okay, so he wants me to give the order, I guess. I'm gonna get help myself. I think that presented itself. I don't think we had this choice before. I think this might be the best chance we have. You follow the path the tugs took to leave the grotto. It leads you away from the towering obelisk down a winding road, shadowed by tall sandstone buildings on either side. The closer you get to the main town, the more humans there are. Every one of them stares at you. Some turn away quickly, feigning nonchalance. Others curl their lips in disgust. A few tell you, how stupid is that? How stupid is that expression? Stop your face from moving. Stop your face from moving. And shave your beard as well. A few tell you to go back where you came from. The waste, preferably. One warns you you'll die out here. But the way he says it seems like he hopes he's the one who kills you. In the town square, you are shoved and jostled on all sides. What few kind faces there are steer clear of you entirely. Finally, you reach Burgrave's tower. The tower marks the center of the town square. It is clearly not the ninth world. It is made of some older material, tipping so much it's a wonder it hasn't collapsed yet. The Burgrave is easy to find. He stands in front of the tower, a stout man in a colorful robe, more colorful than most Jorban citizens. His robe is adorned with various pearl-sent beads and discs that mark his station. He's speaking with a richly dressed man and woman. The Burgrave does not seem to have noticed you, but the couple he is speaking to are clearly disgusted by your arrival. And with that, that's gonna be that for this episode, because we're out of time, so let's continue this one on the next episode. I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye. Oh, that guy has a yeah.